No one wants a Chinese girl, sir. But I can nurse your newborn, rancher replied, then stay here. In the unforgiving plains of 1880s Wyoming, a widowed rancher finds his newborn daughter crying beside her dead mother. At the same time, a lone Chinese girl, Mei Lin, once a railroad worker's wife, wanders the wilderness, starving, lost, and rejected by every town for the color of her skin. When fate crosses their paths, she offers something no one else can, the milk to keep the baby alive. But her ability to nurse the child isn't a miracle, it's born from a tragedy she never speaks of. She lost her own infant just weeks before. What begins as an act of compassion becomes a fight against prejudice, grief, and the cruel whispers of the frontier, until love slowly roots itself in the most barren soil. Before Mei Lin met the rancher. Who is she? Mei Lin was 23, married to Li Shun, a Chinese laborer who worked on the Transcontinental Railroad. When the railroad project ended, they were pushed out of the camps. White towns refused them shelter. She gave birth to a baby boy in a mining town that burned her husband alive during an anti-Chinese riot. Her child died from cold days later. Her milk had just come in, but she had no baby left to feed. For weeks, she wandered westward on foot with nothing but grief, whispering lullabies to the ghost of her son. Where was she going? She was walking toward California, hoping to find a Chinese settlement where she could disappear among her own people, or die trying. But fate led her instead to a crying baby in the arms of death. Wyoming Territory, 1882. A harsh wind blows across the endless stretch of prairie. The sky burns orange as the sun dips low, and dust rolls like fog across the dry land. The camera moves slowly toward a lonely cabin standing crooked against the horizon. One window broken, a chimney coughing smoke into the dying light. Eli McCord, tall, broad-shouldered, 36, with a face carved by sun and sorrow, kneels in the dirt beside a still figure. His wife, Mary, lies motionless on a blood-stained blanket, her hair tangled with straw. In his arms, a newborn baby wails, red-faced, hungry, alive. Eli's voice cracks. Mary, please don't leave me with her alone. But Mary's eyes are fixed open, lifeless, staring toward the fading sun. Eli lowers his head to her chest. The baby's crying grows louder, shrill and wild. He looks down at the infant, his daughter, as if seeing her for the first time. He doesn't know how to hold her, how to comfort her. His hands are too big, too rough. He grabs a rag, wets it with warm water from the pot, and tries to feed her drops. She spits them out, crying harder. The cows are dry. The goats won't let her near. He's helpless. The fire crackles weakly. Eli paces the floor, rocking the baby in his arms. Her cries echo in the small cabin, bouncing off the wooden walls like ghosts. Eli murmuring, "Please, little one. I don't know what to do." He takes the blanket off his wife's body, wraps it around the child, and steps outside. Under the pale wash of the moon, Eli saddles his horse with one hand, cradling the baby in the other. He ties a kerchief over her tiny face to keep out the dust. He whispers almost a prayer. "Eli, hold on, sweetheart. We'll find help. Somebody's gotta help us." He rides into the cold night, the wind whipping his coat, the baby's faint sobs barely audible over the hooves pounding the dirt road. Hours pass. The world grows darker, quieter. Eli's horse slows, exhausted. The baby's cries weaken. Then, a shadow moves among the brush. Eli jerks the reins, hand going to his revolver. Out of the darkness stumbles a small woman, filthy, barefoot, her clothes torn, her hair matted. Her skin glows faintly under the moonlight, her eyes almond-shaped and wide with fear. She raises her trembling hands. Her accent is heavy, her English broken, but her voice, soft. "Mei Lin, please, no shoot. I not bad." Eli lowers his gun, wary. "Eli, who are you? What are you doing out here alone?" She hesitates, swaying on her feet. Her lips are cracked, her cheeks hollow. Then she hears the baby's faint cry. Her eyes snap to the bundle in Eli's arms. She takes a step closer, then another, drawn by instinct. "Mei Lin," whispers, "Baby, she hungry?" Eli looks down. The child is whimpering, weak, her little mouth open, searching. "Eli, her ma's gone. She won't take milk. She's dying, I think." Mei Lin's face changes. Something awakens behind her eyes. She presses a trembling hand to her chest, over her heart, then lower to her breast. Her breathing quickens. Her body remembers. "Mei Lin," barely audible, "I can help. I have milk." Eli frowns, confused, unsure what she means. "Eli, what did you say?" She drops to her knees, hands shaking. Mei Lin, no one wants Chinese girl, sir, but I can nurse your newborn. The world goes silent for a heartbeat. Only the wind moves through the dry grass. Eli stares, torn between disbelief and desperation. Eli, horse, you mean you can feed her? For real? Mei Lin nods, tears streaming down her dusty cheeks. Mei Lin, my baby, he died last moon. But milk still come. Please let me save her. Eli hesitates. The world has taught him not to trust, not to hope. But then the baby lets out a frail, gasping cry, her body twitching in his arms. That sound breaks him. He kneels down, holding out the bundle toward the woman. I softly, all right, do it. Mei Lin unwraps the baby with shaking hands, tucking her into the folds of her torn blouse. The baby's mouth finds her skin and a small wet sound fills the night, the sound of life returning. Eli watches, silent, tears glistening in his eyes. For the first time since his wife's death, the crying stops. Mei Lin looks up at him, voice trembling. Mei Lin, she, strong girl. She live. Eli swallows hard. He removes his hat, kneeling beside her in the dirt. Eli, you saved her life. Mei Lin, shaking her head, no, she saved mine. Two strangers, both broken by loss, bound now by a tiny heartbeat between them. Morning mist clings to the Wyoming plains. The light is pale, new, the kind that doesn't yet burn, just breathes. A small fire crackles outside the McCord cabin. Eli kneels before a rough wooden cross, a shovel resting beside him. His wife, Mary, is buried beneath a mound of fresh earth. The newborn, now calm and full, sleeps in a cradle Eli built overnight, a hastily nailed box lined with one of Mary's old shawls. And just a few feet away, Mei Lin stands barefoot in the dirt, her head bowed, hands clasped in quiet respect. Eli doesn't speak. He presses his hat to his chest and looks at the grave. Eli, quietly, Mary McCord. Beloved wife. Good woman. He glances toward Mei Lin, her small frame trembling in the wind. She looks out of place in this world of raw dust and silence. Eli, don't reckon she'd mind me bringing you here. You saved her girl. Mei Lin doesn't lift her gaze. Her voice is barely a whisper. Mei Lin, I am sorry for her. For you. Eli, ain't your fault. He turns away before the emotion in his throat cracks him open. Inside the cabin smells of smoke, wood, and milk. Eli sits at the table sharpening a knife, while Mei Lin gently rocks the baby by the hearth. The child suckles, making soft noises, the only sign of life in the silent room. Eli can't stop glancing at her. He's not sure if it's curiosity or guilt. Finally he speaks. Eli, what were you doing out here all alone? Ain't no towns for 30 miles. Mei Lin keeps her eyes on the baby, her tone calm but heavy. Mei Lin, I walk west. To California. Maybe find work, maybe die there. Eli frowning, die there? Mei Lin, no family. No home. After railroad no place want me. She looks up then, her eyes glinting with quiet defiance. Mei Lin, maybe California different. Eli, ain't much different anywhere far as I've seen. Pause. The wind howls through the gaps in the walls. Eli gruffly, you speak English fair well. Mei Lin, small smile, my husband teach me. Before. She swallows hard, before white men kill him. The knife in Eli's hand freezes mid-sharpen. He says nothing, but the tension in the air thickens. He understands loss. He understands rage. And he's ashamed of the people who share his color. He puts the knife down slowly. Eli, I'm sorry. For him. Mei Lin, softly, sorry don't bring back the dead. The day fades into gold. Eli is chopping firewood near the barn. Each swing of the axe is steady, rhythmic, like he's working his grief into the earth. Inside, Mei Lin hums softly, an old Chinese lullaby, while the baby sleeps. The tune floats through the cabin window, delicate and haunting. Eli pauses mid-swing. He looks toward the cabin, brow furrowed. The song, it's unlike anything he's ever heard. And yet, it soothes something raw inside him. The baby sleeps between them in a makeshift cradle by the fire. Eli sits at the table, sipping weak coffee. Mei Lin kneels by the fire, mending one of Mary's torn blankets with careful, small stitches. Eli, you don't have to do that. Mei Lin, I do not like to sit with hands empty. He studies her for a moment. The flicker of the firelight dances across her face, fragile but not weak. Eli, you can stay the night. Storm's comin'. After that, we'll see. Mei Lin, thank you, Mr. McCord. Eli quietly correcting Eli. Just Eli. Mei Lin nods, eyes downcast. Mei Lin, Eli. The way she says his name, careful, soft, respectful, sends a strange warmth through him. He clears his throat, trying to hide it. Eli lies on the floor near the hearth, blanket wrapped around him. The baby stirs, whimpering. Mei Lin gently gathers her up and begins to nurse again. Eli keeps his eyes closed, pretending to sleep, but he's listening. Her lullaby returns, a slow melody that fills the quiet room. The words are foreign, but the emotion is clear: sorrow, love, remembrance. Eli's hand tightens around his blanket. He rolls onto his side, facing away, his jaw trembling. Outside, thunder rumbles in the distance. Inside, the baby suckles, the lullaby fades, and the fire crackles low. Rain begins to fall. Eli stands under the porch roof, watching the dark plains vanish beneath the storm. Behind him, through the open door, we see Mei Lin cradling the baby, the firelight soft on her face. She hums, rocking gently, unaware that he's watching her. For the first time since Mary's death, Eli's eyes soften, not with desire but with something rarer: peace. Dawn over the open prairie. A thin ribbon of mist clings to the ground as the wagon creaks down the trail toward town. Eli drives, reins in hand, jaw tight. Beside him sits Mei Lin, wrapped in a faded shawl, holding the baby close to her chest. The wheels groan through mud from the night's rain. In the distance, the shape of Red Bluff town rises, a handful of buildings, a church steeple, and the lazy spin of a windmill. They roll into town slowly. Every face turns toward them: blacksmith, saloon girl, even a boy sweeping dust off the boardwalk. Eli nods to a few men he knows. None nod back. Instead, eyes shift to Mei Lin, who looks straight ahead, calm but wary. A man spits into the dirt. Man 1, muttering, "Ain't right bringin' one of them into town." Man 2, "Guess McCord's lost his damn mind." Eli pretends not to hear, but his knuckles whiten on the reins. Mei Lin notices. She whispers softly, almost to herself. Mei Lin, it is same everywhere. Eli quietly, you let me do the talkin'. We'll be quick. The bell above the door jingles. Inside, shelves are stacked with flour, beans, and rope. The storekeeper, Mr. Haskins, looks up. His smile falters when he sees Mei Lin. Haskins, well, if it ain't Eli McCord. Been a spell. Heard about Mary. I'm sorry, son. Eli, thank you, Haskins. Need milk, sugar, and some cloth for the baby. Haskins gathers the goods slowly, eyes darting toward Mei Lin. Haskins, curtly, you got help now, huh? From the railroad camps. Eli's tone hardens. She's the one keepin' my baby alive. That enough of a reason? Haskins, didn't say it weren't. Just don't want other customers complainin'. Mei Lin stands still, head lowered, eyes on the floorboards. Her hands clutch the baby's blanket tighter. Eli leans in, voice low, dangerous. Eli, if anyone's got a complaint, they can bring it to me. A heavy silence fills the store. Finally, Haskins mutters. Haskins, that'll be $3. Eli slaps the coins on the counter, grabs the bag and walks out. The door shuts behind them. The bells jingle now, sharp, uneasy. They walk past the saloon. A few cowhands lean on the rail, grinning. Cowhand 1 mocking, "Hey McCord. Didn't know you were hirin' wives by the pound of rice." Laughter erupts. Eli stops dead, shoulders squared. He turns, eyes like ice. Like cold, say another word. The laughter dies fast. The cowhand sneers but doesn't speak again. Eli's hand twitches near his holster, but Mei Lin gently touches his arm. Mei Lin, softly, not worth fight. Wind blows dust, not mountains. Her calm disarms him. He exhales slowly and leads her away. Outside the office stands Sheriff Harlan Pike, tall, broad, with a gray mustache and a face like carved stone. He tips his hat, not in greeting but in warning. Pike, morning McCord. Heard you got yourself a new helper. Eli, that's what folks are callin' kindness now? The sheriff eyes Mei Lin, his tone oily. Pike, don't bring her around too often. Town's already uneasy since that Chinaman riot down south. Don't need trouble stirrin' here. Eli gritting his teeth, she ain't lookin' for trouble. Pike, maybe not. But trouble tends to find her kind. He smirks, then looks at the baby. Pike, cute little girl. Shame she'll grow up seein' that face every day. Eli steps closer, so close the sheriff's smirk falters. Low, controlled, you say one more thing about her, Pike, and I'll forget you wear that badge. A long, tense beat. Then Eli turns and walks off, leaving the sheriff standing there with his pride dented. Mei Lin sits on a crate, feeding the baby. Tears glisten on her cheeks, though she makes no sound. A woman approaches quietly, Martha Pike, the sheriff's wife. She's in her 40s, soft-spoken, kind eyes beneath a sunbonnet. Martha, don't let the men scare you, honey. They're loud 'cause they're small. Mei Lin looks up startled. Martha offers a clean piece of cloth. Martha, here. For the baby. She's beautiful. Mei Lin whispers thank you. Martha, smiling faintly, my husband's a fool. Don't mind him. Sometimes a good heart gets buried under too much dust. Mei Lin manages a small smile. It's the first kindness she's received from a white woman since her husband died. Mei Lin, you kind. Martha, no, just a mother. We see things the same when it comes to a child. They share a moment of quiet understanding before Eli returns with supplies. He nods politely to Martha. Eli, Mrs. Pike. Martha, you take care of her, Eli McCord. The Lord's watching. Eli, I intend to. Martha smiles softly, touching the baby's cheek, then walks away. Eli and Mei Lin ride out in silence, the baby cradled safe between them. The sound of the wind replaces the jeers and whispers. After a long while, Mei Lin speaks. Mei Lin, why you not angry at me? Town hate you because I hear. Eli, because I buried a woman 2 days ago. I ain't got room left in me to hate another. Mei Lin, softly, you different from them. Eli, maybe. Or maybe just tired of watching good folks burn for the wrong reasons. They ride on. The prairie opens wide again, endless and free. Mei Lin leans down, kissing the baby's forehead. Mei Lin, to the baby, softly, don't cry, little one. The world too loud already. Eli hears her, glances over, and for the first time, really sees her. Not just as a stranger, not just as the woman who saved his child, but as something deeper. Someone strong enough to survive hell and still sing to the living. Night blankets the plains. A crescent moon hangs low, silvering the endless sweep of grass and sage. The McCord Ranch glows faintly in the distance, one small cabin light in a sea of darkness. Inside, life has begun to feel less hollow. The fire hums softly. Eli sits by the table, working a piece of leather, mending a torn saddle strap. Across the room, Mei Lin cradles the baby near the hearth, humming that same haunting tune, the Chinese lullaby he's come to recognize as her nightly ritual. Her voice trembles but never breaks. It's beautiful and tragic, like a prayer whispered through tears. Eli tries to ignore it. He focuses on the leather, pull, stitch, pull, but the song crawls into his heart. Finally, he sets the strap down and speaks, his voice low, uncertain. Eli, you sing that every night. She looks up, surprised he's listening. Mei Lin, old song. My mother sing to me. I sing to my son. Eli, you had a boy. Mei Lin nods, eyes distant. Mei Lin, he lived 3 days. Then cold come. She looks down at the baby sleeping in her arms. A tear slips down her cheek, she doesn't wipe it away. Mei Lin, softly, when I hold her, I feel him. I think, maybe heaven give me second chance. Eli swallows hard. He's a man not used to speaking of pain, he's buried it, same as his wife. But her words strip him raw. I buried my wife right out there under that willow. She wanted a daughter more than anything. I guess, she gave her to me and took herself instead. They sit in silence, 2 griefs breathing the same air. The fire burns low. Eli pours 2 cups of coffee. One for himself, one he hesitates to offer, then finally slides toward Mei Lin. Eli, it's bitter. Don't know if you drink it. Mei Lin, small smile, bitter is better than nothing. She takes it, sipping slowly. The steam fogs her lashes. They exchange small, shy smiles, fragile, human, real. Outside, wind whispers against the shutters. The baby stirs and whimpers. Mei Lin rises and begins to nurse again. Eli looks away, respectful, but the sound of the baby feeding softens him. He speaks without turning. Eli, you said your milk stayed even after your boy passed. Mei Lin, yes. I try to stop. I walk and walk. No food. No baby. Still milk come. When I hear your child cry that night, it hurt again. Then I know, maybe I not empty. She looks over at him. Her voice lowers. Mei Lin, some pain never go. It just change what it feeds. Eli turns then, meets her eyes. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't need to. The silence between them is filled with understanding. Sunlight filters through the cottonwood trees. Eli is outside chopping wood. Sweat beads on his neck, the rhythmic crack of the axe echoing. From the open door, Mei Lin watches him quietly, the baby in her arms. She sets the child in a cradle, then steps out. Mei Lin, You work always. Eli, grinning slightly, ranch won't run itself. She hesitates, then walks closer. Without a word, she picks up one of the smaller logs, awkwardly tries to split it with a hatchet. Her swing is crooked, weak, but determined. Eli steps forward, guiding her hands gently. Eli, here. Like this. Let the wood do half the work. Their hands overlap. She feels his rough skin, the strength that hides sorrow beneath it. For a brief second, time pauses, then she pulls away, blushing. Mei Lin softly, I learn. He smiles faintly, a flicker of warmth in his cold eyes. They share supper, bread, beans, and wild onions she gathered near the creek. Eli eats quietly, watching her as she sprinkles herbs over his bowl. Eli, didn't know wild onions could taste this good. Mei Lin, food is not about what you have. Is about how much heart you give. He looks at her, the way she says it, humble but wise, and something inside him stirs. I softly, you talk like a preacher. Mei Lin, smiling faintly, my husband say same. He laughs, say I always teach him to see beauty. Even in dirt. Eli, seems he was right. Their eyes meet across the table, a long quiet look that feels dangerous. Eli clears his throat and stands abruptly, breaking the tension. Eli, gonna check the fence line before dark. He grabs his hat and steps outside. Mei Lin watches him go, her heart heavier than before. Eli sits alone, staring out at the vast plain. The wind moans low, like a memory trying to speak. Through the window behind him, the glow of lamplight spills onto the porch. Inside, Mei Lin rocks the baby, her voice soft as silk. Mei Lin, humming, hush now little moon, mama's here, mama's near. Eli closes his eyes. The song hits a place he thought long dead. A single tear slips down his cheek. He wipes it away quickly, ashamed of it. From inside, her voice continues, gentle and steady, carrying over the lonely land like a promise neither of them can yet speak aloud. The sun burns low over the plains. Shadows stretch across Eli McCord's ranch, long and restless like omens. The wind smells of dust and smoke. Something's coming. Mei Lin hangs wet clothes on the line, humming faintly as the baby gurgles in a wooden basket near her feet. The air is warm and still, until a distant rumble of hooves breaks the peace. She looks up sharply. Two riders approach from the ridge, one tall and lean, the other heavy-set with a red sheriff's badge glinting on his vest. Mei Lin's hand tightens on the clothespin. Her breath quickens. The baby starts to fuss. The horses stop near the porch. Sheriff Harlan Crow dismounts first, a cruel smirk under his mustache. Sheriff Crow, well ain't this something? The rumors were true. Old Eli McCord's gone and hired himself a China gal. Eli steps out from the barn, wiping his hands on a rag, his eyes darkening. Eli, she ain't hired. She's helping. That's all. Sheriff Crow, helping, huh? Folks in town are talking, Eli. Saying she's living under your roof, feeding your baby, sleeping in your house. Doesn't look right. Eli's jaw clenches. Eli, town can keep its gossip. She saved my little girl. That's what's right. Crow spits in the dirt, his voice turning sharp. Sheriff Crow, she don't belong here. Law says foreigners without work permits can't settle this far out without a sponsor. You letting her stay, you're breaking the law. Eli steps forward, his tone low, dangerous. Eli, then I'll sponsor her. Crow laughs, loud, mocking. Sheriff Crow, you'll what? Sponsor her? She ain't worth the ink on the paper. Mei Lin stands frozen, clutching the baby to her chest. Her voice comes out trembling but firm. Mei Lin, I not hurt anyone. I only care for baby. Please, let me stay. Crow turns his sneer on her. Sheriff Crow, you hear that accent, McCord? That's why no one wants her. Don't matter what she does, folks won't have it. He takes a step toward her. Sheriff Crow, coldly, best thing you can do, girl, is pack your things and move on before dark. Eli blocks his path. Eli, she's not going anywhere. For a long, tense moment, the two men stare each other down, the rancher's quiet fury against the sheriff's authority. Crow finally spits again and turns back to his horse. Sheriff Crow, growling, you're making a mistake, Eli. This'll come back on you. He mounts up and rides off, dust rising behind him like a storm cloud. The sky glows blood red. Eli stands watching the dust fade, fists clenched. Mei Lin approaches, the baby sleeping against her shoulder. Mei Lin, I should go. Firmly, you're not going anywhere. She looks up, tears in her eyes. Mei Lin, if they hurt you because of me? Eli, let him try. I buried my wife out here. I'll be damned if I bury the woman who saved my daughter too. Her lips tremble. She lowers her gaze. Mei Lin, softly, why you do this? Eli exhales, the truth spilling from somewhere deep and unguarded. Eli, because I know what it's like to be unwanted, and to have someone stay anyway. The wind howls outside. Inside, the baby cries suddenly, shrill, terrified. Mei Lin rushes to her cradle, scooping her up. The child is fever-hot. Mei Lin, frantic, she burn? Eli, she's so hot. Eli drops the cup he's holding, rushing to her side. Eli, hold her close. I'll get water. He runs outside as thunder rumbles across the valley. Rain begins to pour. Eli fills a basin from the barrel, the wind whipping against him. He looks toward the ridge, and freezes. A glow of fire flickers there, torches. Riders. Coming fast. Eli bursts in drenched. Eli, urgent, they're comin'? Pack what you can. Mei Lin's eyes widen in terror. Mei Lin, the sheriff? Eli, and half the town looks like. He grabs his rifle. She wraps the baby tight in a shawl, trembling. The first torch hits the fence outside. Flames lick up the wood. Eli roaring, get down. The baby cries harder as Eli throws a wet blanket over the window. A voice outside shouts. Sheriff Crow, "Ois, we warned you, McCord. We don't want her kind here." Eli fires a warning shot into the air. Eli, you touch this house and I'll drop every one of you. The mob hesitates. The storm rages. Inside, Mei Lin kneels by the cradle, whispering prayers in Chinese through tears. The mob finally disperses as the rain douses the flames. Eli stands in the mud, soaked, rifle lowered. He's shaking, with rage, exhaustion, fear. Mei Lin steps outside, baby safe in her arms. She looks at the charred fence, the blackened earth, the rain washing away the ash. Mei Lin, softly, they burn everything but they not take what matter. Eli turns to her, his voice hoarse. Eli, and what's that? She meets his eyes. Mei Lin, heart. They stand there drenched under the storm, strangers no more. Dawn creeps over the valley, pale gold and fragile. Smoke still curls from the burnt fence. The rain has washed the ground clean but the scars remain. Inside the McCord cabin, peace tries to return, though both hearts inside are still trembling. Eli stands by the window looking out at the blackened wood. His hand grips the rifle still leaning near the door. Behind him, Mei Lin hums softly as she rocks the baby, the same Chinese lullaby that's now become part of his mornings. The fire crackles low. The smell of porridge fills the small room. Mei Lin, gently, eat please. You not sleep. Eli doesn't move. Eli gruffly, I'm not hungry. She walks over quietly, holding the bowl out to him anyway. Mei Lin, if you fall, who take care of her? He turns then, weary but moved by her steadiness. He takes the bowl, sits and begins to eat in silence. Eli, after a moment, you shouldn't have had to see that. None of it. Mei Lin, I see worse in my village. Men come burn take. But I live. Always live. She sits across from him, eyes calm and full of strength. For the first time Eli really looks at her, not as a foreigner, not as a helper, but as a woman with fire in her soul. Eli, you're tougher than anyone I've ever known. Mei Lin, softly smiling, tough not always strong. Sometimes just no choice. They share a quiet, meaningful look. Eli works to rebuild the fence. The wind blows cool and steady as Mei Lin carries a bucket of water, helping him soak the posts. Eli, you don't have to help with this. Mei Lin, you say that every day. Eli, 'cause I mean it. She pauses, then says something that makes him freeze. Mei Lin, you give me roof, fire, food. Let me hold your child. This my home now too, yes. He stops hammering. Looks at her, really looks. The words home echo in his chest like something long forgotten. Eli, quietly, yeah. I suppose it is. For the first time since his wife's death, he smiles without forcing it. The kind of small, broken smile that means healing has begun. The baby sleeps peacefully in her cradle. Eli and Mei Lin sit by the fire, exhaustion softening their edges. A kettle hums on the stove. Eli, when this land's fixed up, I'll ride to town. Tell the judge she's my sponsor now. That's the law's way of saying you belong here. Mei Lin's eyes widen slightly. Mei Lin, you would do that? Eli, already decided. You saved my child. You kept my house from going empty again. I owe you more than I can pay. She shakes her head slowly, voice trembling. Mei Lin, no. I stay because I feel peace here. Not in years. Maybe since before my boy. The silence between them grows warm, charged with something neither dares to name. I softly, you talk about him often. Mei Lin, when I feed her, I think he look from heaven and smile. Maybe he say, Mama, good job. Her eyes glisten. Eli's throat tightens. He reaches out, hesitates, then covers her hand gently with his. Eli, if he could see you now he'd be proud. Anyone would. She looks up at him, eyes shining like the flame beside them. Neither moves for a long tender moment. Moonlight spills over the land. Eli steps outside, gazing over the fence line, the rebuilt section standing firm, stronger than before. Behind him, the door opens quietly. Mei Lin steps out, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. Mei Lin, cold tonight. Eli, yeah. They stand side by side looking out into the night. Crickets sing. The sky is endless. Mei Lin, you think they come again? Eli, maybe. But they'll find us ready. Mei Lin, us? He glances down at her, half smiling. Eli, yeah, us. She nods, her eyes soft but determined. For the first time she doesn't feel like a guest, she feels like part of something. Eli exhales, his voice low, sincere. Eli, I ain't much for words, but if you want to stay you got a home here. Not just for now. For good. Her breath catches. She stares up at him. Mei Lin, whispering, you mean, stay forever? Eli, as long as you'll have us. The words hang in the cool air, a promise and a confession, both unspoken and unmistakable. The fire burns low. Mei Lin watches Eli sleeping in his chair beside the cradle, the baby's tiny hand resting against his chest. She smiles softly, tears slipping down her cheeks, and whispers in Chinese. Mei Lin, whispered translation, Heaven thank you. You take one family from me, and give me another. She kneels beside the cradle, humming her lullaby once more, not out of grief this time but gratitude. The morning mist curls through the valley. The McCord Ranch stands rebuilt, fences mended, fields alive with green. The willow tree by the creek sways softly, where Eli's late wife rests beneath the soil, and where his new life is quietly taking root. Mei Lin steps outside holding the baby, now stronger, laughing. The sound is soft, full of sunlight. She breathes in the air, eyes glistening. For the first time in years she feels safe. But peace, as always, never lasts long in the West. A wagon rattles up the dirt road, 3 men aboard. At the front, Sheriff Crow again, his red badge flashing like blood in the sun. Behind him, a man in a suit. A federal inspector from Carson City, carrying a file marked Immigration Authority. Eli sees them from the barn and steps out, hand already on his gun. Eli, thought I told you to stay off my land, Crow? Sheriff Crow, you did. But this here's official business. Word is you're harboring an illegal. A Chinese drifter with no papers. We're here to collect. Mei Lin freezes on the porch, clutching the baby tight. Eli, you're not talking her. Inspector, coldly, sir, this is not your decision. The law. Eli, interrupting, the law can hang itself. That woman saved my child's life. She's more family than half this town put together. Crow smirks. Sheriff Crow, you can't marry her, McCord. Ain't legal. Like gritting his teeth, then the law's wrong. The inspector steps off the wagon, pulling out his papers. Inspector, her name's Mei Lin, age 24. Arrived in San Francisco 2 years ago on a merchant vessel. Listed missing after a raid in Nevada. You've been hiding her. Eli's jaw tightens. Mei Lin's eyes flicker with pain. Mei Lin, I not hide. I survive. The inspector looks her over, like she's an object, not a person. Inspector, you're to come with us for deportation review. The baby begins to cry, loud, terrified. Eli steps forward, his voice thunder. Eli, you lay one finger on her or that child and you'll have to go through me first. Crow's smirk falters. The inspector shifts uneasily. Inspector, Mr. McCord. Eli, cutting him off, no. You listen. You think this woman's a threat? She's been out here milking cows, mending fences, nursing a baby that ain't hers, because she's got more goodness in her than the whole lot of you. He turns to Crow, fury trembling in his voice. Eli, you talk about law and belonging. But tell me this, Sheriff, when was the last time you saved a life? The words hang heavy. Even the horses go still. Crow's jaw works, but no words come. Mei Lin steps forward, voice trembling but resolute. Mei Lin, you can take me, but I not regret. I find love here. Not the love of man only, but love that see me as person. She hands the baby to Eli, and then, softly, Mei Lin, If you ever tell her about me, tell her I come with empty hands, but left her full heart. The inspector hesitates, humanity flickering in his eyes. He lowers the papers. Inspector, quietly, I see no fugitive here. Just a mother feeding a child. Crow turns sharply. Sheriff Crow, you can't just. Inspector, she's no threat. I'm closing the report. He climbs back into the wagon. Crow glares, spitting in the dirt before following with a curse. The wagon rolls away, dust trailing behind it like the end of a bad dream. Exit Creek, later. The sun is bright now, glinting off the rippling water. Eli kneels by the willow tree, the baby in his arms, Mei Lin beside him. He places a hand on the headstone, his wife's name carved in fading letters. I softly, I reckon you sent her, didn't you? You knew I needed saving too. He looks up at Mei Lin, eyes soft, filled with unspoken love. Eli, you could have gone. You stayed. And Mei Lin, because you see me. Not color. Not name. Just me. He smiles faintly, tears welling. Eli, then I'll spend the rest of my days making sure you never doubt that. He reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out a small wooden ring, hand-carved, simple, imperfect. Eli quietly ain't much. But it's real. He slips it gently onto her finger. Mei Lin, whispering, in my country, promise under heaven more strong than gold. They stand together under the willow tree, the same place where loss once lived, now reborn as love. The firelight dances across the walls. Eli sits by the cradle, the baby sleeping soundly. Mei Lin hums her lullaby, this time in both languages. Half Chinese, half English. A song of two worlds meeting in one tiny home. Eli listens, eyes closed, peace finally returning. Eli, softly, you think she'll remember you singing that? Mei Lin, yes. Because I sing it with heart. And heart never die. He smiles, nodding. Outside, the wind rustles the willow leaves, gentle, eternal. Months later. The land blooms. The fence stands tall, horses graze, and laughter spills from the open cabin window. Mei Lin steps outside carrying the baby on her hip. Eli follows, arms around both of them, his voice calm and full. They said no one wanted her. But the truth is, this whole place stopped breathing till she came. The camera pans up, wide, golden, endless. The baby giggles, reaching toward the sky.